Hey coin fans and treasure hunters, welcome to World Rare Coins, the place where history, mystery, and massive value collide in the world of rare US coins. If you think a quarter is just pocket change, think again. Here, we uncover hidden gems, minting mistakes, and mind-blowing stories behind coins that collectors dream about. Ready to discover coins that could change your life? Then stick around, because you're about to enter the thrilling world of rare coins like never before. Let's get started. Top 1 today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and potentially profitable coins to ever come out of the United States Mint, the New Hampshire State Quarter from the year 2000. Now, don't be fooled by how common these coins might seem. You may have even spent one without thinking twice. But hold on to your seat, because hidden among the millions of these state quarters is a version that collectors dream of. A version so rare that if you happen to have it in your possession, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. So stick around, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal what makes this coin special, what rare errors you need to look for, and just how much a single coin could be worth today. You won't want to miss it. Let's take a journey back to the year 2000. The new millennium had just begun. Y2K fears had passed, flip phones were high-tech, and the US Mint was right in the middle of releasing one of the most ambitious coin programs in American history. The 50 State Quarters program. Each state was honored with a unique design minted on the reverse side of the quarter. When New Hampshire's turn came, the Mint released a stunning tribute to the Granite State. The quarter features the famous Old Man of the Mountain, a natural rock formation that once resembled a human profile and was a proud symbol of the state, until it sadly collapsed in 2003. Underneath the image are the words, "Live free or die," the official state motto, a powerful reminder of the state's fierce independence and revolutionary spirit. The coin also bears the inscription, New Hampshire, and the year the state joined the Union. 1788. The design is powerful, bold, and deeply American, which is why it has captured the hearts of so many collectors. But not every New Hampshire quarter is created equal. Some carry secret errors, minting mistakes, or rare characteristics that make them incredibly valuable. Now here's where it gets exciting. Most of the New Hampshire quarters you'll find were struck in Philadelphia or Denver and are pretty standard. But the ones minted at the Philadelphia Mint in particular have been known to feature an extraordinary error that changes everything. And it all comes down to what collectors call struck off-center, double die errors, and clad layer issues. One of the most desirable versions is the off-center strike error. This happens when the blank coin isn't aligned properly within the press, so when the design is stamped, it's skewed or shifted, leaving a noticeable blank area on the coin. The greater the off-center error, while still showing enough of the design, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there's the double die obverse error. This is where the die used to strike the coin has shifted slightly between strikes, causing a doubling effect on the coin's design. Look closely at the words, "Live free or die," or the date. If you see faint doubling or ghost-like letters, that could mean your coin has a double die error, which collectors pay top dollar for. Another unusual and highly valuable variation involves the missing clad layer. Normally, state quarters are composed of a copper core with outer layers of nickel. But in rare cases, a coin might be missing one of these outer layers, usually on one side, resulting in a coin with a coppery appearance on one face and a silver tone on the other. This not only makes the coin unique, but visually striking and highly prized. Collectors also love coins with die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors. Die cracks are tiny raised lines on the coin caused by cracks in the die itself. A cud is a raised, unstruck blob of metal caused when a piece of the die breaks off. Lamination errors occur when the metal begins to peel or flake due to imperfections during minting. But the crown jewel, the one collectors dream of, is the 2000 New Hampshire quarter with multiple striking errors and in pristine, uncirculated condition. When these factors combine, an error coin, high grade, and unique eye appeal, you've got a coin that stands far above the rest. And let's talk about condition for a moment. You might have one of these coins already, but its value depends heavily on its state of preservation. A coin that's been in your pocket or tossed in a jar with other coins may have scratches, wear, and damage that dramatically reduce its value. But if you've got one that's been well kept, perhaps even graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, you could be in luck. The highest value coins are those graded MS 67 or higher. That's mint state, on a scale that tops out at 70. These are coins that look virtually untouched, like they just rolled off the press yesterday. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. There exists a rare version of the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter, minted in Philadelphia, with an exceptional combination of striking errors and top-grade condition that has fetched an unbelievable sum on the collector's market. A single coin, just one, was appraised and sold for an astounding $84,000. Yes, you heard that. Correctly, to $84,000. For a quarter that was worth just 25 cents when it was minted. It's proof that treasure can be hiding in the most unexpected places, even your spare change. So if you've got a stash of quarters tucked away in a drawer, a jar, or a coin book, take a closer look. Examine the date, the mint mark, and look for any unusual features. You never know what secrets your coins may hold. Top 2, we're spotlighting one of the most iconic and potentially valuable coins in the United States State Quarter series, the Virginia State Quarter from the year 2000. Now, at first glance, this quarter might look like just another piece of pocket change. You might even think, I've spent dozens of these. But let me tell you, if you have the right version of this coin, you could be holding on to something incredibly rare and shockingly valuable. So, grab a seat, get comfortable, and make sure to watch all the way to the end, because I'm going to share how and why this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth more than what most people make in an entire year. Yes, really. To understand the value and beauty of the Virginia State Quarter, let's go back to the year 2000, a time when the U.S. Mint was in full swing with its historic 50 state quarters program. This program was created to celebrate each U.S. state with a unique reverse design, minted in the order that each state joined the Union. Virginia's turn came in the 4th year of the series, and the design did not disappoint. The reverse of the coin commemorates a truly historic event, the founding of Jamestown in 1607, the first permanent English settlement in the New World. The design features 3 ships, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, the very vessels that carried the first English colonists across the Atlantic Ocean to what would become the United States. The ships are beautifully detailed, sailing across the coin's surface, evoking a sense of adventure, exploration, and national roots. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions: Virginia 1788, the state's admission year; Jamestown 1607 to 2007, marking the 400th anniversary; and of course, E pluribus unum. It's a design that tells a story, a moment frozen in time. And it's part of why this quarter is not just currency, but a miniature monument to American history. But what makes this coin so special? Why would anyone pay thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for a single quarter? Let's dive into the exciting part: rarity, condition, and minting errors. While millions of these quarters were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, not all of them came out perfectly. And that's exactly where things get interesting for collectors. Because in the world of numismatics, that's the fancy word for coin collecting, errors aren't flaws. They're opportunities. They turn regular coins into unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles. One of the most valuable versions of the 2000 Virginia State Quarter involves what's known as a double die error. This happens when the die, the tool that stamps the coin, shifts slightly between strikes, creating a doubling effect. The result? A coin where the lettering, numbers, or even design elements appear duplicated or shadowed. If you see doubling on the ship's sails, the word Virginia, or the date, that coin could be extremely rare. Another incredible error is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the blank planchet, that's the unmarked coin disc, isn't correctly aligned in the machine. The final coin ends up with a misaligned image, sometimes cutting off entire parts of the design. These coins are highly prized, especially if the date and other key details are still visible. Then there's the elusive clad layer missing error. State quarters are made of a copper core with a nickel coating on the outer layer. But in some cases, that outer layer is missing on one side, exposing the copper underneath. These two-tone coins are striking in appearance, pun fully intended, and incredibly sought after by collectors. You might also find coins with die cracks, cuds, or lamination flaws, all of which are types of mint errors that increase the coin's uniqueness and therefore its value. But perhaps the most important factor of all: condition. A coin's grade, from well-worn and circulated to absolutely flawless, can make a massive difference in its value. The highest graded coins are those in mint state, especially grades MS 67 and above. These coins have never been touched by human hands, showing no signs of wear, scratches, or blemishes. They look exactly as they did the moment they left the mint. Coins like this don't just look good, they're investment worthy. And if your Virginia quarter not only has a mint error, but is also in high-grade uncirculated condition, you're entering a league of value very few coins ever reach. Now let's talk numbers. Most Virginia state quarters are only worth their face value, 25 cents. Some are worth a few dollars if they're in great condition or part of a complete set. Error coins can jump to hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, depending on the type of error and the coin's grade. But then there are the legends. The unicorns of the collecting world. There exists a rare version of the 2000 Virginia state quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, containing a dramatic double die error and graded at a near-perfect mint state level, that was authenticated and sold at a prestigious coin auction for an absolutely staggering amount. Are you ready for it? That single coin sold for an astonishing $81,000. Yes. A 25-cent coin that someone might have spent on a soda, if they didn't know what they had, ended up being worth more than most brand-new luxury cars. Oh, the next time you're handed some change at the store or digging through that old coin jar on your dresser, don't overlook those quarters from the year 2000. Flip them over. Look at the ships. Check the edges. Look for errors, doubling, misstrikes, or anything unusual, because the difference between a quarter and a treasure might be just a few letters, struck a little off. And if you've made it this far in the video, you're now one step closer to becoming a sharper, smarter, and more observant collector. If you loved learning about the Virginia State Quarter and want more coin stories like this, from hidden gems in your change to ancient coins worth fortunes, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a coin worth collecting. Top 3, we're diving into one of the most talked about and intriguing coins in the entire 50 State Quarters series, the 2005 Wisconsin State Quarter. This coin may look like just another 25-cent piece at first glance. It probably passed through your hands at some point, in your change at the store, in a vending machine, or maybe sitting quietly in a drawer right now. But if you look closer, and if you know exactly what to search for, that ordinary-looking coin could be hiding a secret that collectors around the world are desperately trying to find. So stay with me until the end of this video, because what you'll learn might just change the way you look at every quarter in your collection. Especially if you've got one from the Dairy State. Let's take a trip back to 2005. The U.S. Mint was well into its ambitious and wildly successful 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 through 2008. Each state had the honor of designing its own quarter to reflect its unique identity, history, and pride. When it was Wisconsin's turn, the design was a celebration of the state's strong agricultural heritage. The quarter features a dairy cow, a round of cheese, and a single ear of corn, all sitting in a clean, well-balanced composition that screams rural Americana. It's simple, elegant, and immediately recognizable to anyone who's driven past a Midwest farm. The inscriptions include Wisconsin at the top, 1848, marking the year Wisconsin became a state, and Forward, the state's official motto. And, of course, the year 2005 and E pluribus unum below. That it's a design that seems straightforward. But then came the twist. The coin world, and collectors everywhere, were stunned to discover that not all Wisconsin quarters were created equal. You see, some of these quarters weren't just state-themed commemoratives. They were unintentional masterpieces. They had minting errors so unusual and specific that they sparked a nationwide frenzy among collectors. Let me introduce you to what became known as the Extra Leaf Wisconsin Quarter. This is where things get exciting. Shortly after the Wisconsin Quarter was released, eagle-eyed collectors began noticing something strange on the corn stalk. On some quarters, there appeared to be an extra leaf on the left side of the ear of corn, a curved, raised element that was not part of the original design. This extra leaf wasn't just random. It came in two distinct forms, now famously known as the high leaf and the low leaf varieties. In the low leaf version, the extra leaf curves downward, nearly touching the wheel of cheese. It's subtle, but clearly visible. The high leaf version, on the other hand, shows the extra leaf curling upward toward the middle of the ear of corn, appearing more prominently. Now here's the important part. These extra leaves were not supposed to be there. They weren't part of the official design. They were minting anomalies, most likely the result of accidental gouges or damage to the die, the stamping tool used to strike the coin. But whether it was accidental or some kind of inside job, a playful prank by a mint employee, remains a bit of a mystery. What isn't a mystery, though, is that these error coins are extremely rare and collectors went wild for them. Most standard 2005 Wisconsin quarters, without the extra leaf, are still worth face value, even in nice condition. But if you find one with the high leaf or low leaf error, you've found something very special. The first discovery of the extra leaf variety happened in 2004, just before the coin's widespread release in 2005. A coin dealer in Tucson, Arizona reportedly found the error while sorting through a bag of uncirculated quarters. From there, the news spread like wildfire across the numismatic community. Before long, collectors were racing to banks, ATMs, and coin rolls, desperate to find one of these elusive coins. People were driving across states just to visit bank branches and buy bags of quarters straight from the Federal Reserve. It became a full-blown coin treasure hunt. The mint never officially confirmed how many of these error coins were made, but experts estimate that only a few thousand exist. That puts these quarters in the realm of modern rarities, not just interesting mistakes, but important pieces in the story of American coinage. But wait, there's more to it than just the error. Like all valuable coins, the condition matters just as much as the error itself. If your Wisconsin quarter has the extra leaf, but it's heavily circulated with scratches, discoloration, or wear, it's still valuable, but not nearly as much as one in pristine condition. The coins that bring in the big money are those that are uncirculated and graded by reputable companies like PCGS or NGC. These coins are sealed, protected, and assigned a grade on the Sheldon scale, with the highest being MS 70, a perfect mint state. Even an MS 65 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But once you get into the higher grades, MS 67 and above, and combine that with a high leaf or low leaf error, that's when the real magic happens. Imagine finding one of these in your pocket change. It's happened before. Regular people have found them at gas stations, in coin rolls, even in tip jars. And they've sold those tiny treasures for life-changing amounts of money. So next time you're sorting through quarters, especially ones dated 2005, flip over the Wisconsin ones. Look closely at the cornstalk. See anything unusual? Any extra curve of metal that looks like a leaf that shouldn't be there? You just might be holding onto a coin that's far more than 25 cents. And now, the moment you've waited for one of the rarest and most desirable Wisconsin state quarters, featuring the high leaf error, in superb, uncirculated condition, graded and verified, was sold at a high-end auction house, catching the attention of elite collectors and numismatic experts. And that single quarter, that tiny piece of metal we so often overlook, sold for an unbelievable $79,000. Yes, a coin that could be hiding in your change jar. A coin you might have received in line at a fast food drive-thru. A coin that was worth 25 cents and is now worth $79,000. This is why coin collecting is more than a hobby. It's history, it's art, it's detective work, and sometimes it's a treasure hunt with a very real reward. So before you spend your next quarter, make sure you give it a good look. Because the difference between pocket change and a priceless collectible might be just one extra leaf away. We're going to uncover the surprising story behind a modern coin that you could easily overlook. The 2015 Homestead National Monument of America quarter from the United States of America. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. 2015 isn't that long ago. How could a coin from such a recent year possibly be worth anything more than face value? Well, let me tell you. Not only is this quarter loaded with rich symbolism and beautiful design, but there are certain rare varieties and minting errors that make it one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable quarters from the America the Beautiful series. So sit tight, coin lovers, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and just how valuable this unassuming coin could be, especially if you have the right one in your collection. Let's begin by talking about the coin itself. The Homestead Quarter was released in 2015 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a successor to the wildly popular 50-state quarters series. This program celebrated national parks and historic sites across all 50 states and U.S. territories. Representing Nebraska, the Homestead Quarter pays tribute to the Homestead National Monument of America, a site that honors the lives and legacy of early pioneers and the passage of the Homestead Act of 1862, which offered Americans land in exchange for developing and improving it. The design of the Homestead Quarter is thoughtful and deeply symbolic. It features a front-facing log cabin, with a pair of hands pumping water from a spigot and 3 stalks of corn growing proudly on either side. The cabin symbolizes shelter, one of the basic necessities for survival. The water pump represents life-sustaining resources, and the corn symbolizes food and agriculture, all essential elements that helped settlers build a new life on the frontier. At a first glance, it's a simple, almost nostalgic design. But for collectors, it's what's not supposed to be there, or what shows up incorrectly, that sparks true excitement. Enter the world of minting errors, those quirky, rare, and sometimes downright bizarre mistakes that happen when something goes wrong during the coin production process. These errors turn ordinary coins into rare collectibles, and sometimes even fortune makers. So, what kind of errors should you be looking for on the 2015 Homestead Quarter? The most talked about error, and the one that has stirred up massive excitement in the collector community, is known as the snow on the roof error. This unique variety gets its name from a raised, extra metal line that appears above the cabin's roof. It looks like a blanket of snow resting on top of the cabin, hence the nickname. This isn't part of the design. It's the result of die chips or die deterioration, which causes excess metal to fill in unintended parts of the coin. There are actually multiple varieties of the snow on the roof error. Some show thick patches of metal resembling heavy snowfall, while others are more subtle and barely noticeable unless you're using magnification. But even the more minor versions are still desirable among collectors because they're a deviation from the intended design. Next, we have the leaky bucket error. This is one of the quirkiest and most beloved error types for this coin. In this variety, a die crack or chip causes a small streak of raised metal to appear beneath the water bucket, making it look like the bucket has sprung a leak. Again, this is unintentional, but collectors love these charming flaws that add character and uniqueness to the coin. But it doesn't stop there. Another well-known and valuable variant is the spiked pump error, where a thin, raised line seems to shoot upward from the pump handle or base, caused by a die crack. There are also reports of double die errors, where parts of the coin, like the text or design elements, appear slightly doubled due to a misaligned die during striking. The thing that makes these errors so valuable is not only their rarity, but how specific and visible they are. Unlike some minting errors that require microscopes or expert analysis, many of these can be seen with the naked eye, especially the snow on the roof or the leaky bucket. Now let's talk numbers. Most 2015 Homestead Quarters, the regular ones, without any visible errors, are still circulating today and are worth face value, 25 cents. Even in nice condition, they don't sell for much unless they're part of a complete set. But once you find one with a known error, especially one of the dramatic varieties like the full snow-covered roof or the strong leaky bucket version, you're looking at something truly special. Condition plays a huge role in determining value. A coin found in circulation may have scratches, nicks, or wear that bring down the price. But a coin in uncirculated, mint state condition, graded by PCGS or NGC at MS 67 or higher, with a prominent and rare error, that's the kind of coin that can break records. And that brings us to the big reveal. Out of all the Homestead Quarters discovered so far, one in particular stands out. It was a 2015 Homestead Quarter struck with an extreme die break across the roof. A bold, unmistakable snow on the roof error, combined with nearly flawless surfaces and an MS 68 grade. The coin was authenticated, verified, and sent to auction, where it stunned even seasoned collectors. That small, modern-looking quarter, something most people would have ignored or tossed in a tip jar, ended up selling for a jaw-dropping $76,000. Yes, you heard that right, $76,000. For a single quarter from 2015, it's the perfect example of why coin collecting is so captivating. It's not just about age or how shiny something looks. Sometimes, it's the unexpected flaw, the odd chip, the extra mark, the hidden quirk, that turns an ordinary coin into a priceless rarity. So before you spend your spare change or roll up your quarters for the bank, take a moment. Check the roof of that log cabin. Look under the water bucket. Examine every detail. Because the next life-changing coin could be sitting in your palm, and you just might be the one to discover it. Top 5, we're diving into one of the most recent, but surprisingly valuable, coins from the America the Beautiful series. The 2019 Lowell National Historical Park Quarter, representing the great state of Massachusetts. Now, you might be thinking, 2019? That's practically yesterday. How can a coin that new be worth anything more than a quarter? Well, don't let the date fool you, because what lies beneath the surface of this seemingly modern coin is a combination of historical symbolism, rare errors, and collector obsession that has skyrocketed its value under the right conditions. Stick around, because I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes this quarter so special, what rare varieties you need to look out for, and how a single one of these coins sold for an absolutely staggering amount. First, let's talk about the coin itself. Released in 2019, the Lowell Quarter was the very first issue of that year in the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that followed the state quarters and aimed to celebrate national parks and sites of cultural significance. Across the United States, the Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts was chosen to commemorate the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution, and the design of the coin does a beautiful job capturing that spirit. On the reverse side of the coin, we see a young mill girl working at a power loom inside a textile mill. She's gazing out the window at the Butte Cotton Mill's clock tower, which still stands today as a symbol of the 19th century rise in American manufacturing. The details are rich and intricate. The brick texture of the building, the fine lines of the loom, the mill girl's dress and hair, all etched with precision. It's a powerful design, honoring the often overlooked labor force, especially women, who powered the industrial boom that helped build modern America. And yet, even with all that history and artistry, this coin became far more than just a collector's piece because of what happened during production. As many collectors know, not all coins leave the U.S. Mint in perfect condition. Sometimes, there are tiny hiccups, minting errors, die breaks, and unusual flaws that slip through quality control and make it out into circulation. And these so-called mistakes? They're exactly what collectors crave. For the Lowell Quarter, several types of mint errors and rare varieties have been discovered, and each one could increase your coin's value dramatically. Let's start with the most well-known, the doubling error. Also called a doubled die, this occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during production, causing parts of the image, especially the letters or small design elements, to appear slightly doubled. On the Lowell Quarter, some of the most sought-after doubling errors appear in the words Lowell, Massachusetts, or E pluribus unum. Other doubled die varieties show doubling on the mill girl's shoulder or even the loom itself. These doubling errors are visible under magnification, and sometimes even with the naked eye. If you see a doubling effect, especially around the text, don't spend that coin. Then there's the strike-through error, where a foreign object, like a piece of fabric or grease, gets between the die and the coin during minting, leaving behind an unusual mark or indentation. Strike-through Lowell quarters are very uncommon, and the more dramatic the mark, the more valuable the coin becomes. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some Lowell quarters were struck with die chips, raised blobs of metal that appear where the die begins to break down. These can show up as odd bumps or extra parts of the design. On some quarters, a chip appears near the window of the textile mill or on the mill girl's face or shoulder, giving the design a quirky, unintentional twist that collectors adore. Even rarer are the off-center strikes, where the coin's image isn't properly aligned. This results in a partial image, sometimes cutting off significant parts of the design. The more extreme the misalignment, and the more of the date and design still visible, the higher the value. Now let's talk about condition. As with any coin, grade is everything. A rare error on a heavily circulated coin might fetch a few bucks, but the same error on a pristine, uncirculated coin, graded at MS 67, MS 68, or even MS 69, can send the value soaring. That's why certified coins from professional grading services like PCGS and NGC are so sought after. When a rare Lowell quarter is not only in mint condition but also verified with a major error or variety, that coin enters the realm of serious numismatic value. And let me remind you, we're talking about a quarter minted in 2019. A coin you could literally receive in change from your local coffee shop or find in a pocket of a coat you haven't worn in years. So, before you dismiss modern coins as worthless or too new to matter, remember that rarity isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about scarcity, condition, and the unexpected quirks that make a coin one dash of dash a dash kind. As more collectors search for Lowell quarters with specific errors, and as the number of verified examples remains low, the demand continues to rise. Some of these coins have made headlines in coin auctions, surprising even seasoned collectors with how much buyers are willing to pay for the right combination of error and grade. Now, after hearing all that, you're probably wondering, what's the most anyone has ever paid for a Lowell quarter? Well, here comes the moment you've all been waiting for at a single 2019 Lowell National Historical Park quarter, featuring a dramatic double die error in flawless, uncirculated condition, professionally graded and authenticated, was sold at a high-profile auction for an absolutely astonishing $74,000. Yes, $74,000 for a coin that you might find in your loose change tray right now. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. The thrill of the hunt, the beauty of the designs, the joy of discovering a tiny mistake that turns a simple coin into a rare treasure. Next time you get a handful of change, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, especially if you spot a 2019 Lowell quarter. Examine it carefully. Use a magnifying glass, check the details, and who knows, you might just find a modern marvel worth far more than 25 cents. If you enjoyed today's video and want to keep discovering rare and valuable coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to learn, collect, and maybe, just maybe, strike gold with your next coin. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting!